What I see, though, is a national resolve to do great things.
Coming up, we sat down with astronaut Butch Wilmore as he closely watches the Artemis 2 mission.
Coming up, we'll discuss how Tennessee basketball is in the portal and how this new executive order could change that.
I started thinking, okay, well, this should be bigger than UT.
And a new bill in the state of Tennessee that would make it easier for younger people to vote.
Welcome back to TVC News. I'm Aubrey Curran.
And I'm Lewis Maddox. 1 week ago today, President Trump signed an executive order from the White House titled Saving College Sports.
That's right. The order was designed to limit pay-for-play practices as well as clear up eligibility rules. TVC senior reporter Drea Peebles has been studying the new executive order and is reporting live outside Food City Center. Drea?
Yeah, guys, college sports are currently in their Wild West era. Between NIL deals and the transfer portal, athletes have been moving more than ever because there is not a clear set of rules. Now, there is a new executive order that has recently been signed called Saving College Sports. This will limit how often players can transfer and how long they can play. I spoke with Professor Guy Harrison to break it all down.
Attempts to define within very strict boundaries how long an athlete can perform in college and the freedom that they have to transfer schools. You now have 5 years, no more than that, to compete at the collegiate level. You're only allowed to transfer once.
So what this could do is force athletes to be more intentional with their decisions instead of constantly moving throughout the portal. Now, for programs like Tennessee, this will bring more stability for coaches who would like to rely more on their athletes. Now, they could also limit options for athletes who may want a fresh start and transfer. Now, although this bill has recently been signed, it will still take a little bit of time before it fully goes into effect. Now, right back here in Rocky Top, we have been seeing just exactly how active this transfer portal has been. The entire Lady Vols basketball team has entered their name into the portal, so we have 0 returning players. 5-star power forward Olivia Edwards has also decommitted. Now, on the men's side, we have Cade Phillips, Bishop Boswell, Jalen Curry, J.P. Estrella, and Amari Evans, who have all entered their name into the portal. Now, J.P. Estrella has now recently committed to Michigan, and Troy Henderson, on the other hand, has recently reversed his decision to enter his name into the portal. Now, constant movement like this is exactly what this executive order is trying to prevent by putting more limits into place and bringing structure to college athletics. Reporting from Food City Center, I'm Drea Peebles. Back to you guys.
Important information right there. Thank you, Drea. 4 astronauts, Christina Cook, Jeremy Hansen, Victor Glover, and Reed Wiseman started their 10-day journey around the far side of the moon on April 1st, reaching a total maximum distance of almost 253,000 miles from Earth.
Yeah, pretty far away from home. TVC reporter Kaylee Smith met with UT alumni and astronaut Butch Wilmore to discuss the importance of this mission.
Butch Wilmore in space for 286 days.
The emotions, grateful that I was in space, absolutely. It's a wonderful place to be stuck. And there's many definitions that we fell under that stuck, mantra. Yes, we were stuck. You take the situation you're in and you make the best of it. And you've got to perform and do your best as well.
Wilmore supporting the Artemis 2 mission by working on the rocket and Orion spacecraft.
What I see, though, is a national resolve to do great things. And that takes an army of people, a large group of individuals that are passionate, the backing of our nation to do great things. Those are the type of things that great nations do. Still progressing, looking forward, looking out there, pushing the ends of the bounds of technology.
Sean Lindsay describing Artemis 2, 4 astronauts orbiting around the far side of the moon.
It's been so long since we've had humans that actually go into lunar orbit. We're pushing the boundaries of what we're capable of doing.
The astronauts taking photos along the way.
The Earthrise is whenever the Earth is first starting to appear over the limb of the moon again. And I find these just absolutely staggering images that Artemis 2 could bring back.
The moon almost 239,000 miles away.
Because of the detail that we can see with the moon is just super cool in of itself. But then you can look and that's all of us right there. Every person that lives on Earth. This really creates an effect of we're more in this together. We're on spaceship Earth together.
In Knoxville, Kaylee Smith, TVC News.
Now, if you didn't know, Josh Dobbs, VFL and former quarterback for the Tennessee Vols, was at the launch of Artemis II.
That's right, and we got his thoughts about those 4 astronauts spending the last 10 days in space.
That's tremendous. I don't know if I'd get in a capsule like that for 10 days. I think like it just signifies so much history and so much resolve and accomplishments that we can do when we come together as people.
Josh Dobbs vlogged the whole day on his Instagram page. He even flew a plane himself from Texas to the Space Coast.
And a new bill's been introduced in Tennessee, and you may recognize its name. It's the Charlie Kirk Act.
Our Alexa Durbin is here to break it down for us and tell us what it means for the university. Forward in the legislative process. It was introduced by Representative Gino Balso and Senator Paul Rose. Now, if approved, it would require universities like UT to adopt policies focused on free speech protections. It will restrict faculty from rejecting speakers invited
First
to campus.
Amendment protection says yes, you can speak, but you don't have to speak.
Now, that was Dr. Martinez. He gave me some insight about what it will mean for the university. So this bill would restrict the punishment of faculty speech or discrimination against individuals based on their religious beliefs or their positions on social issues. Yeah, UT professor Michael Martinez, he says this bill could have a bigger impact inside the classrooms.
Amendment protection says yes, you can speak, but you don't have to speak. And this starts infringing on that. And really, my understanding of the way that this is written is what they're trying to do is shape what's taught in the school, which takes it out of the academic setting.
Now, next steps looking forward, the bill heads to the Tennessee House. If it passes there, it would then go to Governor Bill Lee for his signature before becoming law. We'll keep that updating for you. I'm monitoring the story as it moves through our state government, and we'll have those updates for you right here on Instagram for TVC News Now. Let's take it back to you guys at the desk.
Low youth voter turnout has been a statewide issue for some time, but one University of Tennessee student thinks he has the solution.
That's right. Lawmakers are calling it Colby's Law, named after UT senior Colby Norrod, who turned missing his first general election into a push for change. I apologize. We have some technical difficulties going on right now, but I did sit down with him to learn more.
Students do want to be involved in elections. I think sometimes they just need a little extra push or a little more availability to get out of these classes.
When UT senior Colby Norrod missed his first voting deadline in the primary elections, he decided to make a change.
I thought, why not give students off a day off for Election Day?
Drafting the Davy Crockett's Election Day Freedom Act within student government in 2024, giving UT students the day off General Election Day.
It was the first time in over 16 years that Tennessee ranked above the national average for youth voter turnout. I started thinking, okay, well, this should be bigger than UT.
And with community support, like from political science professor Bill Lyons, Colby was able to get there.
I always am heartened to see when students are interested in getting other students to participate more.
I stand here today in support of House Bill 2167, a bill that would require Tennessee's higher education institutions and TCAT schools to observe an academic holiday on November's general election day in even years.
And what was the process in getting the bill from student government, UT, to like in the state of Tennessee?
It kind of just was one of those things where, you know, one day you just pick up the phone and you start calling offices.
And of course, a couple of the legislatures were very pleased to see a student doing this sort of thing, and they even nicknamed it the Colby Bill.
House Bill 2167 moves on to full education. Thank you, Representative Barrett.
It was probably the first time I realized you can just reach out to someone and the power of just a student email.
It's going to be scheduled to be placed on the Senate floor calendar soon. We'll be sure to keep track of that story, so be sure to follow us on Instagram at TVC News Now to stay updated.
Thank you, sir.
And coming up, Lewis Maddox spoke with the new Smokies trainer.
Yeah, we had an opportunity to
nervous,
go to
I would say I'm more excited and ready to play and prove myself.
And a UT student who's heading to the Masters in Augusta this weekend.
The Volunteer Channel works around the clock to curate UT news, sports, and event coverage.
I'm so sorry.
Best way to stay on top of all of it is to follow our Instagram at TVC News Now You can scan this QR code right here to get right to the page. All of our content is created by UT students with the Big Orange community in mind. Volunteer Channel thanks you for your support. Go Vols.
Yeah, I do apologize. We are going through technical difficulties, as we said earlier, but Lewis Maddox did speak with the new Smokey and his trainer with the orange and white game coming up tomorrow in Neyland Stadium. There's going to be a key figure, and that's Neyland.
Yeah, it's a big figure at that. I got to meet Smokey 12, also known as Neyland, in the UT Gardens a couple of days ago to learn his story and meet the people who have been working with him. Take a look.
He likes to do this.
Meet Neyland, a 2-year-old blue tick coonhound set to become the new furry face of the volunteer family. Starting out as a rescue dog from the East Tennessee blue tick coonhound community, Neyland the walk-on is now stepping into the starting lineup as he takes on his new persona of Smokey.
He's about to become one of the most famous dogs on the face of the earth. And you know, just a few months ago, he was rescued.
Tennessee began its tradition of live mascots in 1953, and the majority of Smokey's history has come from the same bloodline. But Neyland is breaking the mold. Julia Albright is a veterinary behaviorist that is working to train Smokey to be, well, Smokey.
You know, we just keep gradually exposing him to things, and every step of the way, he's been amazing. So here we are, orange and white game, and we're one more test to see if this is a good fit.
And this is terrific news to the ears of any Tennessee fan, because after a tough time trying to acclimate Smokey 11 to the bright lights of Neyland Stadium, he now gets to enjoy his retirement and let Smokey 12 take the reins into his paws.
We're seeing a lot more personality with Smokey 12. So we're excited. We're excited to see how well he interacts with people this weekend and with the noise.
Everyone can go and check out Neyland inside of Neyland for the first day of his new job tomorrow at the orange and white game.
We're excited, and it looks like he's enjoying it so far.
For TVC News in Knoxville, I'm Lewis Maddox.
Thank you. Can you sit?
And now if you want to get a sneak peek of Smokey 12 in action, you can head on over to Neyland Stadium tomorrow at 2 p.m. where he's going to be leading the Vols to the tee for the very first time.
Yeah, Aubrey, that is one of the best parts of going to any game at Neyland Stadium. But also running through that tee on Saturday is a brand new Tennessee defense. For more, let's head over to Lauren and Max for this week's Rocky Top Sports Report.
Thanks, guys. And there is going to be a lot of new faces on the football field tomorrow.
From transfers to five-star freshmen, there's a lot of names that will be wearing the orange and white for the first time. And to give us a few to look out for, let's head over to Patrick Falcon and Taylor Langford outside of Neyland Stadium on the Williams Terrace.
That's right, guys. We're outside of Neyland Stadium ahead of tomorrow's orange and white game. And a big thing to watch tomorrow is going to be the quarterback battle. Now, an important thing to note is that Coach Heupel has not confirmed anything about a starter and probably won't until it gets closer to the season, as most coaches do. But former four-star and redshirt freshman George McIntyre is currently taking the first-team reps, and five-star true freshman Faison Brandon is taking the second-team reps. Now, something to look for in McIntyre is, can he put on weight? He's currently listed at 6'6", 200 pounds. He's going to need to bulk up a little bit if he wants to be a starter in the SEC. And as for Brandon, can he figure out this offense and get a good grasp of it? And from what we're hearing, it's a resounding yes. He has taken a big leap into understanding what can be a complicated offense. And because of his high ceiling and his playmaking ability, this can put him ahead of McIntyre in the long run. Now, something else to watch for tomorrow, Taylor, is going to be that Vols defense.
Now, that's right, Patrick. Last season, season, the Achilles heel for your Tennessee Volunteers was the defense. And in wake of firing defensive coordinator Tim Banks, the Volunteers signed Penn State's Jim Knowles, who previously helped Ohio State to their national championship in 2024. Now, alongside him, he brought 4 defensive guys, most notably Chaz Coleman, the 5-star transfer number 2 edge rusher in the portal, who as a true freshman had 6 solo tackles, 8 total, 1 sack, and 1 forced fumble. Now, him alongside returning guys such as Arion Carter and Ty Redmond, the Volunteers will look to return to their high standard of defense that they have had in previous years. Now, I will be boots on the ground covering the game tomorrow, but for more in-depth coverage of the Orange and White game, make sure to tune in to Torch Sports at 2 p.m., now streaming on the WVLT News app. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, guys. And with the Orange and White game comes many returning VFLs, and one in particular has decided to make his return to Rocky Top extra special.
Yeah, Alvin Kamara, in conjunction with the football team, announced on Instagram last night that he would be making a large gift.
Kamara said in the post, quote, "There are certain experiences that shape you throughout your life. In my heart, it was only right that I pour back into the university that gave me an opportunity when I didn't quite know what was next." Kamara will be recognized for this gift on the field during the Orange and White game tomorrow. And now we've already mentioned how much of an interesting week it's been for the Lady Vols in the transfer portal, but on a positive note, Tennessee legends Candace Parker and Shamiqua Holdsclaw were inducted into the Naismith Memorial Hall of Fame class of 2026 on Saturday.
Now they will be joining Tamika Catchings, who was inducted in 2020. The class of 2026 will be enshrined at the 2026 Hall of Fame Enshrinement Weekend, which will take place August 14th and 15th.
Now moving from the court over to the diamond, Tennessee baseball lost their series this past weekend to 24-ranked LSU. The Vols lost the first game Friday after a struggling pitching staff, but bounced back and tied the series on Saturday with a Blake Grimmer home run to pull Tennessee ahead. Unfortunately, the Vols went on to lose the series on Sunday, allowing 10 runs in the 12th inning, resulting in a 16-6 extra innings loss.
However, Tennessee did bounce back strong against Northern Kentucky Tuesday, winning 12-6. The Vols look to take on a tough task this weekend against the number 9 Mississippi State Bulldogs down in Starkville, Mississippi. 10th-ranked softball got back on track after taking 2 out of 3 at-home games against South Carolina.
And Carlin Pickens picked up both wins in the series and allowed just 1 earned run in 11 1/3 innings over the weekend. And on Friday, she was honored post-game by 2004 Olympic gold medalist Jenny Finch with a golden ticket signifying Pickens being drafted to the Athletes Unlimited Softball League. Now offensively, Alana Leach led the way through the weekend with 3 home runs versus the Gamecocks, leaving her with a team best 8 on the season. And after a pair of midweek wins scoring 25 runs over, the Lady Vols are off to Lexington for a weekend series versus Kentucky.
Now that's all we got here on Rocky Top, but we'll send it back to the desk to talk about a volunteer taking part in an important weekend in Augusta, Georgia.
Lewis and Aubrey, back to you.
Thanks, guys.
Jackson Harrington, a UT sophomore, is making his Masters debut this week in Augusta. TVC reporter Izzy Osmond sat down with him before he left.
It's a dream come true. You know, every time I was on the green or the practice putting green could have just been me or my parents or coaches. I would always hit one last putt and say this is for the Masters. So to be able to do that at 9 years old and then now at 19 to, be able to go and play against the best players in the world, it's truly a dream come true. But, it's not just that, it's a tournament that I want to go play well at, and pretty confident I can, so I'm looking forward to it.
A lifelong volunteer, Harrington has always dreamed of playing at the Masters. This past December, with a heartfelt social media post, he announced this dream had become a reality.
Now, who do you feel like is your main support system throughout this whole process?
Definitely my parents. Without their love and sacrifice that I'd for me, or I wouldn't be where I am today. So it's definitely, this is an opportunity for me to kind of show the world that I am one of the best golfers in the world, but it is also, it's for them too. So yeah, I'm definitely grateful for all they've done for me, and I'm excited to go make them proud. I feel good, very excited. I'm not nervous, I would say. I'm more excited and ready to play and prove myself, but I definitely haven't felt any nerves yet. I'm sure I will at some point, but I'm really excited, and
excited to put my game to the test, and it's the best priorities in the world.
Inspiring message. We are wishing you the best of luck, Jackson, and are cheering for you here from Knoxville.
Coming up after this, a story about a revived UT club taking to the skies.
Coming up, a look inside one of the most popular clubs on campus, Club Volwake. Stay with us.
The Volunteer Channel works around the clock to curate UT news, sports, and event coverage. Best way to stay on top of all of it is to follow our Instagram at TVC News Now. You can scan this QR code right here to get right to the page. All of our content is created by UT students with the Big Orange community in mind. The Volunteer Channel thanks you for your support. Go Vols.
Hey grads, senior celebrations are in full swing as we near the end of the semester. Here's a couple events you can look forward to over the next couple of weeks. Welcome Wednesday will take place on April 1st in McClung Plaza by HSS Lawn and will honor seniors. Students can receive free breakfast and register when they arrive at the event. Senior Toast will take place on April 13th from 5:30 to 7:30 at the Knoxville Convention Center. This is an invite-only event for seniors who have donated to Senior Impact. Seniors who donate are also eligible for a Senior Impact Cord. Torch Night, a farewell to thee, is one of UT's oldest traditions, where graduates pledge to serve both the university and their community as loyal alumni. The event will take place on May 13th, 7 p.m. at Ayers Lawn. Finally, cap and gowns are available for purchase and pickup at the Vol Shop. Students can also purchase announcements, diploma frames, and rings. For questions about diplomas, email graduation@utk.edu. For questions about ceremony details, email commencement@utk.edu. Congrats, grads, you're almost there. And as always, go Vols.
Yeah, thanks, Kendall. It's now time to send you across the studio to our chief weather specialist, Jackson Berg, who has the forecast into the weekend.
Yeah, Jackson, what's that weather weekend looking like?
Yeah, so Knoxville is definitely heating up this weekend. As we can see, starting today, temperatures will be reaching the upper 70s. And we actually have a high pressure system just southeast of Knoxville, as we can see here. That is causing very dry and hot weather this whole weekend. And so into Saturday, temperatures will be reaching 80 degrees. And this is also when we have that orange and white game. So for any of those pre-game plans around 11 a.m., going to be a little bit colder in the upper 60s, but by 2 o'clock when that game starts, nearly going to be 80 degrees and staying that throughout the rest of the weekend. And now if you're not going to the game, you still might be out maybe in the mountains. In Pigeon Forge, going to be 79 degrees, Newport 77, the rest of the area about 80 degrees. And into Sunday as well, going to be even warmer, about 84 in most areas, a little bit colder in Oak Ridge, a couple degrees lower than that. But as we can see, the entire weekend going to be hot, going to be dry weather, so make sure we're staying hydrated if you're going outside, especially if we're going to that orange and white game. And UV rays are going to be a little bit harsher than we've seen this season yet, so make sure you're applying that sunscreen as well. But that's all I have for you. We're going to head back to the desk for some more stories.
Yeah, glad to finally be seeing some warmer weather this weekend. Thank you, Jackson.
And a club taking UT students to the skies has returned after 3 decades. For more on Vol pilots, here's our TVC reporter, Luke Lamery.
If you ask any aviator, they'll tell you there's something almost undescribable about being in the air. Whether the pilot's young,
they gave me the controls and I was absolutely in love from that moment forward.
Or maybe just a little bit older.
Somebody's flying. I was going to say. All right, cool. Right overhead. Oh, that is awesome.
Enter Steve Abreu, a member of the UT Flying Club back in the early 1990s.
It was a good time. Mainly, a lot of the weekends were filled with just taking the students to fly-in breakfasts and things like that. We've got beautiful mountains, beautiful valleys, rivers, lakes. It's just wonderful to fly around here.
The club lost popularity and disappeared over 30 years ago, much to Abreu's dismay. But without even mentioning the existence of the Flying Club to anyone, Abreu may have started the ignition once again, without even realizing it.
Really fun to have people to go fly with that understand what you're talking about, because it's also a completely different language to speak. And just really people you can connect with and feel at home with while you're flying.
That's Sarah Stanley, president of Vol Pilots, UT's new pilots association, with one goal in mind: building community. It's important to her for a reason you might not expect. Abreu has been Stanley's coach since she was just an early teen.
I love Steve. Literally, that man, I'm so thankful for him because he dealt with me at like 13 years old, being like, flying, look at that!
He was Stanley's community while she was learning to fly, inspiring her to start her own. And over 30 years later, one couldn't help but think Abreu played a part in its revival.
Just keep up with it, stay focused, make sure the core people that are there, make sure they stay there.
As Vol Pilots provides a sun that's rising on college aviation in Knoxville once again. For Vol News, I'm Luke Lamory.
How exciting to think volunteers are going to be taking it to the skies, but that's not the only place you can find UT other than land. Right, Lewis?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Students are trading backpacks and desktops for waves and wakeboards.
I love that. Especially with the warmer weather coming up, it's definitely getting more traction. Our Maggie Schworking has a story about one of the most popular clubs on campus.
Fall Wake is the club wakeboarding team, wakeboarding and wake surfing. We go out a couple times a week and take about 10 riders out on the boat. We have different officers who drive the boat different days of the week, and it's just a bunch of college kids who love surfing, wakeboarding, and just having a good time on the boat.
Fall Wake is a student-run organization at UT that brings together experienced and unexperienced riders, all with a shared love for wake surfing.
You get people who have never ridden before, and you get to teach them like a new thing, and I've never met anybody who doesn't have a great time out here.
The club hosts regular outings, giving students a break from campus life and a chance to unplug. Fall Wake says the goal is simple, to get students on the water and give them a place to belong.
So like, good if you're stressed out about school because you're out here with like a bunch of people just hanging out.
With over 130 members,
This is one of the biggest club sports that UT has.
it helps you find your people.
I didn't know anybody at the school, and so I came in and I was like, this is a way for me to meet people that I know that I'm going to have something in common with. And I came out, it was one of the most welcoming environments that I've ever been in.
We just wake and surf and have fun.
At the Tennessee River, for TVC News, I'm Maggie.
Yeah, you can learn how to join the club by visiting our website at thevolunteerchannel.com. And sadly, that marks the end of our newscast today, but you can make sure to follow us on Instagram at TVC News Now for the latest updates and all news here on Rocky Top and across the country.
Make sure to tune in to Torch Sports today at 2 p.m., streaming on WVLT Plus and our YouTube channel. I'm Lewis Maddox.
And I'm Aubrey Curran. See you next week, and go Vols.